Hello you lot. I had a lot of comments on the little review or unboxing that I'd done of that Amazon Basics socket set. That one right there. So some people were saying it ain't worth getting a cheap socket set. They're not worth the money. They're not. You might as well just spend the money and get a more expensive one. So I thought what I'd do was I'll just have a little sort of chat with you lot to sort of discuss it, you know, see what the crack is and what my opinion is on this one and other ones. So let's just have a look at some of them. You got this one here. Looks like a rebranded Stanley set. Stanley gets the job done. So you've got loads of you know, people saying that it looks like a rebranded set, which it may well be. May well be. And for those of you that might not have watched the little unboxing that I've done of this, what happened was I bought that socket set for somebody who needed a socket set but couldn't afford one. I said that I could help and I'd help, but I wasn't prepared to pay proper branded prices, so I had to look around for a cheaper set, and that's when I come across this one. And now I get to use it for a little while. Made the unboxing video, I get to use it for a while, see what it's like. If it breaks, I'll obviously send it back. If it's any good or whatever happens, I'll then make the review video of it to say like, oh, this is good or this is bad, this is the good points, this is the bad points. The person that's going to get this or this is for doesn't want to work on cars every single day. They don't want to work on everything. They just needed it for a few little projects. I think it'll be perfectly ample, to be honest. So Chucky, he says the cheap sets are okay for the kids to muck around with. My experience with cheap sockets, they strip bolts and don't fit properly. Best set I ever bought was an Italian Beta. That's probably just pronounced beta, I don't know. To be honest, I would go the extra few quid and get a Halfords kit, lifetime warranty. That is true, Mr. Chucky. This is my Halfords kit. I bought this, oh man, I was 17 years old, so we're probably talking about 13 or 14 years ago. You know, and I've used it a lot. I've used it on all my cars. I've taken it places. The only thing that I've had break on it was, this will keep coming out, it's a bit of a design flaw really, but to be honest, these are really worn. All the little holders for the sockets are really worn because the sockets have come in and out hundreds of times. The only thing that broke on this set was the half-inch ratchet, because I lent it to a friend of mine when we was working on the drift car. I think was working on the E36, and I said, yeah, use my ratchet. He used it, and I think he must have put a bar on it or done something with it, because after he used it, it kept stripping your knuckles. Do you know what I mean? It never gripped. It never. You'd be doing something, and then your knuckles are. You know what I mean? So literally, like, we're talking at least 13 or 14 years after I bought it, because I think I made a video on it a few weeks ago. I took this ratchet to Halfords, didn't have a receipt, didn't have nothing, just took the ratchet on its own, because they've got Halfords Advanced engraved on them. There's no dispute that it's a Halfords ratchet, and I gave it to the person and they got me this new one, no problem whatsoever. So now I've got a new ratchet. The only bad thing is the design's changed over the years. The old ratchet was that long. This new design of ratchet, the modern one, is a bit longer, so it doesn't quite go in the little groove, but they match all right. They're pretty much the same. I'm gonna put that like that so that they all match. But yeah, this is a Halfords set, and I can't deny that they are good quality, and the lifetime warranty is perfect. So, you know, I think this set has gone up a lot in value now. I mean, when I bought it, it was a reasonable price, but it was I thought, quite an expensive set. Now you're looking at double the price. Obviously, with the cheap Amazon Basic set, you haven't, well, as far as I know, you might have, but I don't think you have. But with it being Amazon, you can return anything anyway. you've only got to say one thing and Amazon will return it and they'll throw it in the bin. You know what Amazon's like? Amazon are really bad. People just take advantage of Amazon because they don't care, because they get enough money that they don't care. They take returns for no reason whatsoever. So if this was to break, let's say the ratchet broke, I can almost guarantee, well, I can't guarantee, but I can almost say for fairly certain that if that ratchet broke, right, you would be able to go on Amazon, ask for a refund, return refund or a replacement, and they'd probably just say, yep, send it back and we'll send you a new one. Because that's just, we all know all about Amazon returns. I mean, I've contemplated buying an Amazon return pallet because I see loads of videos of people doing it, and there's loads of things that people have returned, there's nothing wrong with them, you know, or there's like one little thing wrong, or some people just take the mickey altogether. They're like, take all the sockets out and then send back just the empty case, and Amazon don't care, they just chuck it in the bin. But anyway, we're getting a little bit off topic. What I was trying to say was, you do get a lifetime warranty with Halfords. I think you'd be pretty safe returning this whole set. You wouldn't be able to just return one ratchet, I wouldn't have thought. They'd want the whole set back and they'll send you a whole new set. But I would imagine with Amazon being Amazon the way that it is, you could send it back and get a new one if anything was to break. Would it be for a lifetime? Probably not. But is anyone who buys one of these socket sets going to be using it in 20 years time? Probably not. They're probably not going to be. Simple as that. They're going to be doing something else or bought bigger and better tools by that time. As far as the sockets not fitting properly, yeah, you know, I would agree that the machining on these sockets, or the casting, or whatever you want to call it, people call it all different things, the manufacture of these sockets probably isn't anywhere near as good as a Halford set or a Stanley set, or obviously, you know, we can't compare it to SnapOn or Teng tools. Having said that, look, personal opinion, right, there's going to be people out there that are going to say, I only buy SnapOn, it's well worth it, Teng tools are well worth it, the quality is superior, SnapOn quality is superior, blah blah blah. In my opinion, how good can the quality get before it can't get any better, but the price keeps going up? I mean, a spanner, yeah, a spanner. Let's say if you're working on cars all day long, a spanner is a spanner. I've been doing it since I was 17. A spanner is a spanner. I've been using Halford spanners. I've been using whatever other spanners I've got, old ones. A spanner is a spanner. Yeah, they can get really bad spanners that don't fit properly. They're round off nuts. They move when you know, they're not sturdy. They move. They snap. But if you get a good quality spanner, that is it. You don't need to spend. I know someone, right? When I was a mechanic, for those of you that don't know, I went into a bit of a what's it called? A business opportunity where me and two friends started up a garage. Yeah, we was repairing cars. They was doing more than me because I had another job as well. But I know someone who bought SnapOn tools, only SnapOn. Even in fact, when I was a welder as well, I knew someone who also bought only SnapOn tools. The SnapOn van would come around, and he was at it like a, well, he took a beeline for it, all putting it on his account. Yeah, so it was all racking up, and for one spanner, I think it was a 19mm. I could be wrong, but I know it was we used commonly 17 and 19mm. I think he bought a 19mm spanner, just a spanner. Just a spanner, just like this one, which happens to be SnapOn, because I've acquired some spanners over the years. You know, people give them to me. Canada. This is a 17mm, but he bought a spanner, and I'm not even joking when I'm telling you, it was 50 quid. One spanner was 50 quid, right? At that time. This was around about 2009. And everyone thought he was nuts for buying SnapOn tools, because he was the only one that went to the SnapOn van. Nobody else went to the SnapOn van. Everybody else just bought normal tools. He had the SnapOn, he loved it. He had the SnapOn tool chest thing, He had everything was SnapOn. The little trolley that he wheeled around the workshop was SnapOn. He had a SnapOn bag, SnapOn overalls. He was in so much debt to SnapOn, it was unbelievable. Everybody was like, you've just spent £50 on a spanner. And he was like, yeah, this is the best spanner. This spanner will never snap. It will never round a nut. It will never round a bolt. It will never do anything apart from be a spanner and work. And we was all like, right, okay. But none of our tools, which were Halfords, or to be honest, I don't know what other, but I know some of them, a lot of them are Halfords. Just ordinary spanners. Never done that anyway. And they were like, what, 15, 20 quid for a spanner? Or probably a bit less than that, but you buy a set of them for 20 quid. You probably, I think I did buy a set for 20 quid. So, when does the price start to, the quality doesn't get any better, but the price keeps going up? That's the question. So we've got quite a lot here. Bonnie says, you've got more socket sets than you'll ever need. Yeah. Do you know what? I use every single socket set. I haven't got a lot of them. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got a couple of good ones and some old ones. These are just old sentimental ones, really, to tell you the truth. My uncle gave me this one, Draper one. It's very old, in a metal case. This one's 40 or 50 years old, this one as well. A Draper tool socket set. This is obviously a bit newer, but it's a quite handy little set. This is just Silverline. So even Silverline is not that bad. They're quite cheap, but they're not that bad. That ratchet's broken because I lent it to somebody, and again they broke it. That doesn't work anymore. I need to try and get a new ratchet for that. They still do this socket set on Amazon. It's 32 quid now. It wasn't 32 quid when I bought this. It was about 20 quid when I bought this. You can't buy the ratchets on their own, unfortunately. I wanted to just get a ratchet to put in it because the rest of the socket set's fine. But they do this socket set. It's blue now though. For 32 quid. I'm not going to. I nearly bought a new socket set just to replace this one, just so I can replace the bloody ratchet, because it's useless without the ratchet, obviously. But you can't buy the ratchet on its own that fits. I want it to fit in there. I know I could just buy a 1/4-inch ratchet, but I want it to fit in there, and they don't fit in. I want it to match. So I nearly bought the actual socket set, but for 32 quid, I'm not going to do that right now. Anyway, off topic. Yeah, these are just old ones. I do use them. That's why they're here. Not worth anything, you know. Old socket sets. Quite handy. Handed down to me through the family. This one's got to be 30 or 40 years old. It's definitely relatively old, the same as this one underneath. But yeah, but as I say, this Amazon one, it's not for me. So, Bonnie, it's not for me. I know I'm going to be using it, but as I say, I bought it for somebody else, and I said, look, can I just do an unboxing of it? Can I use it, see what it's like, make a review video of it, and then review on the Amazon as well, and then I'll hand it over to you. And they were like, yeah, no problem, I don't want it anyway for a month or so. So that's that. The point that I was trying to get across, I think I might have got a little bit off topic as I normally do, but the point that I was trying to get across is, depending on what you're doing, if your trade, like you're a mechanic every single day, then yeah, you want good quality tools. You do want good quality tools, and you want a good quality box and everything to organise your tools. But is it really worth getting SnapOn or Teng? You buy a Teng tool chest for like £4 SnapOn one's about the same. You know, a socket set, small socket set, about that size, you're looking at 50 quid. Socket set about this size, SnapOn or Teng, you're looking at 200 or 300 quid. Yeah, when this is 67 quid, like that. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're a mechanic, a proper mechanic in a garage, you rely on your tools to earn your living. If your tools break, or your tools don't work properly, or they round off all the bolts, you're in trouble. Yep, you want quality tools. Is it worth spending the SnapOn money, Teng money on them? In my opinion, no. Go and get yourself a Halford set, and that'll be absolutely fine. My opinion, right? But then obviously people like tools. It's like, tools are also a hobby. If you're a mechanic of any description and you use tools, use sockets and spanners and boxes, they're a bit of a hobby. You get carried away. I done it. Everybody does it. You want better, you want bigger. And SnapOn and Teng and all those expensive brands out there, they market them. So like Teng tools, they have them eyes, you know, and they have really cool designs, really nice feeling boxes. The drawers are lovely and everything's perfect about them. And you think to yourself, this is a lot better than my a lot cheaper Halford set. I want that. I want bigger and better. So that's what happens. But you don't need to spend all that money on quality. But if you're just doing something like repairing a few lawnmowers here and there, or working on your own car on the weekend, maybe something like this, a cheaper socket set, is what you want. But cheap is irrelevant. There's a reason that I've titled this video, "Are Amazon Basics Tools Worth the Money?" Is because if I was going to say, are cheap tools better than expensive tools? But I thought to myself, that is different, because cheapness, the word cheap is relevant to the context in which you mean it. And that could mean, if I put cheap, it could mean Rolson or all the really cheap, horrible brands out there that are just no good. I've bought a cheap Rolson socket set in the past, and I'll tell you what happened. I opened it up. I thought, well, this is really cheap and nasty. The hinge literally broke as I opened it, because it wasn't a real hinge. All it was a piece of bent over plastic. You know when they use a bit of bent over plastic for a hinge and it goes really light, doesn't it? And then you keep opening it and then eventually they just snap. It was like that. Anyway, the first time I used it, I got a ratchet out and I got a socket out. I put the socket on the end of the ratchet and I went to undo a head bolt on a lawnmower, and all of this just come off, and the little ball bearings inside all fell out, and I hadn't even used it yet. So that's why I didn't use the word cheap, because cheap is relevant. This socket set is cheaper than a Halford socket set, it's cheaper than a SnapOn socket set, it's cheaper than a Teng Tools socket set. However, it's more expensive than the cheapest socket sets in its class. So what I'm trying to say is, you want to buy a socket set or some tools that are, the quality and the price is relevant to what you want to use it for. As I say, if you're just using it to repair an odd lawnmower here and there, or if you repair lawnmowers as a bit of a hobby in your garage on the weekends, or you work on your own car on the weekends when you need new brake pads once a year or once every 2 years, you get your socket set out and you change the brake pads, or you change the spark plug, so you do your service every 6 months, you use your socket set. You just want one of these less expensive, perfectly adequate socket sets. Or are they perfectly adequate? Don't know yet, I've not tested it, but you know my point. But if you're a full-time mechanic and you've got a van, or you just work in a garage and you rely on your tools 100%, without those tools you can't earn a living, then buy quality, of course, and it's up to you how much you spend. As I say, tools are a hobby. Everybody wants better. It's like CB radio. You can spend 30 quid on a CB radio and you can have a wonderful hobby, enjoy yourself, speak to everyone around the world. Or you can get bigger and better and you can spend £600, £700, £800, £1,000 on one CB radio, which does exactly the same job as that £30 CB radio. It's the same with tools. You can spend £10 on one spanner or £50 on one spanner. It will do the same job. But obviously, I know some of you are going to say, yes, but that £50 spanner will be better than the £10 spanner. Not necessarily, but I see your point. And yes, if you do skim too much on quality, you will get bad quality tools. But I think you see my point. So, as for this Amazon Basics socket set so far, to me it seems like it's more or less worth the £67 that it costs. I don't talk about money and price a lot, but seeing as I'm doing this in a separate video as a review and an unboxing, the price is important. You've got to mention price in a review video. So, you know, for £67 you get some spanners, you get some sockets, you get some bits and bobs for screwdrivers and Allen keys, you get 3 ratchets, if you're going to use it every now and again on your bike or whatever, I think it's quite good. And you get a nice case which actually does its job. But obviously it'll all be tested. I've only used it once so far. I repaired a puncture on the bike earlier, and I used this socket set to get the wheel off. So we'll see what it's like. And just remember, it's all about relevance, what you want to use it for. In a way, it's a bit like, if any of you are subscribed to my other RC channel, I've done a little video. It got taken out of context a little bit. I didn't quite mean it how it actually came out to some people, but anyway, that's regardless. You'll all be aware of Kevin Talbot. Seems like a real nice bloke, but he often does videos, and he titled them "Cheap RC Car," "Cheap Nitro Car," whatever. To me, when I see that, I'm thinking, oh, brilliant, looks like a nice car, and it's got to be around about, I don't know, 80 to 100 pounds. Lovely. Maybe 200 pound at the max to call it cheap. But no, it's like 800-900 pound. To him, that's cheap because he's got a lot of money. So he has a lot of expensive cars, which are £1,500, £2,000, you know, £1,300. So cheap to him is 500 quid, 600 quid. That's cheap to him, but to us it's not. So as well, you could also say people that have got a lot more money will see a 10 tools socket set which is £400, and they are a socket set the same size as that Amazon Basics one is around £400. That's cheap to them because they've got a lot of money to spend. And they would probably usually buy the £1,000-odd socket sets. So a £400 one is cheap. But to us, to me, a £400 socket set is unviable. That's majorly expensive. A £60 socket set is cheap. You know, I'd expect to pay £120 for a decent socket set, £150. For a half decent or a decent socket set. Halford's one, for example. £60 is cheap. The word cheap is relevant. Bear that in mind. Anyway, you lot, yeah, I see them comments and I thought to myself, this is a nice, I could make a nice little conversation with you like out of this, you know. By all means, comment in the comments to this video as well. And you know, let me know your opinions about what I've said about the relative of cheapness to different people, because, you know, people that are richer are going to see things as cheap that to people like me, normal people, as I would like to call myself, normal, would be on the expensive side. So, and things that I would consider cheap, richer people are going to consider not even worth thinking about because it's just not expensive enough. You know. And also the quality side of things. Let me know, put in the comments, what do you think about my opinions on the quality side of things, you know, about being a mechanic, relying on your tools. You want good quality, but do you want to pay too much? When is good quality the end? You know, when does good quality sort of stop and the quality stop? You can't get no better quality, you know. What is good enough quality? In my opinion, a Halford set or something like that, it's not going to break, and you know, they're perfectly adequate, more than adequate. A nice set like that, you don't need to spend hundreds or thousands of pounds on tools. I mean, individual tools. I mean, you're going to spend thousands of pounds on tools if you're a mechanic. It's as simple as that. But what I'm trying to say is on small tools, like £400 on a socket set, £2,000 on a box with some tools in it. You don't need to spend that, in my opinion. It's my opinion, alright? So let me know your opinions in the comments, and we can all have a nice friendly chat. And yeah, it'll be a few weeks, and no, it won't be longer than that. I've got a few jobs to do on the Talbot and on the car, and I've got a lawnmower to fix and things. So I will be using this Amazon Basics socket set, and we'll see what it's like. And the person that I bought it for, like I say, they're not gonna be using it. All they do is they just want to repair an odd mower here and there. They want to start getting into repairing lawnmowers. here and there, you know, and they haven't got any tools, and they haven't got any money to buy any tools. So I said, I'll buy you a socket set, because I was in the position to. I shouldn't have done, but I did. And then that's all they're going to be doing, the odd lawnmower here and there. I think this is going to be perfectly adequate, personally. I don't think there's going to be any problem with this, but we'll see. And I'm going to use it. I'm going to give you everybody an honest review of how it is for me after using it a few times. Obviously it's not going to be a lifetime of bloody use, but you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And then I'll pass it on to them, and what I'll do is, when they're using it, if anything happens to it, they'll tell me, and if anything does break, I'll get it back off of them, and then I'll update everybody with an updated review of what's broken and what Amazon have done about it, if they've done anything. And then I think that'll be a good idea. That'll be a good way to go, just for a bit of fun, really. I quite like doing reviews. I like doing product reviews. I like doing all that kind of stuff. But to be able to do them, you've got to be able to buy them. And I just can't buy half the stuff that I want to review. There's loads of CB radios I want to review, but I can't just randomly go and buy loads of CB radios just to review, and things like that. And bikes. Push bikes. I love push bikes. I'd love to just go on Amazon and buy all the Amazon push bikes and unbox them all and review them all and give you the good and the bad, like a lot of channels do. But I can't do that. But so every time I get something that I think would be worth it, I think tools are worth it. They are worth reviewing, because everybody needs tools and everybody wants to buy tools. So there you go, you lot. Thanks for watching. Sorry if I rambled on a bit too much, but it wasn't. This was supposed to be just a rambly video. So don't forget, if you want to help me out, somebody also they sent me £3.50. Philip Abbott, I think his name was Phil. I did do another video where I've also thanked him in that, but I'll thank him again in here. Thank you very much, Phil. He sent me £3.50 to my PayPal link to buy a coffee. Because he knows I like coffee, Costa coffee, and they're getting expensive now, and I don't like to buy them because they're too expensive. But he sent me £3.50, so I got one yesterday morning, so thank you so much. And if anybody else wants to help me with some money towards anything, or even just whatever, so you can send me a super thanks or send some money to the PayPal link, but a super thanks really does help my channel. So, or subscribe, you know, subscribe, that would be nice. I don't normally ask people to subscribe, but maybe I'll get on the bandwagon and ask people to subscribe. So I'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy yourselves, and enjoy life, and enjoy your tools, because if you buy a good tool set, there we go, if you buy a good tool set, it'll last you for life if you look after it. Catch you later on.